All right, we should be live. We got somebody else trying to get in here.
Can get the pop out chat.
Emacs coming in, I believe. I don't
Okay.
have, but we are live, you guys. So, hello, everybody
Hey.
out there. Hey, Backwoods, how you doing? Good to see you. Ryan the Gamer's in here. Rob is up here on the panel with me. How is everybody doing? We're gonna just kind of do a loose tabletop tonight panel. We're just gonna try to catch up on some loose ends here. If you want a link, Backwoods, I'll send one out to you. Just let me know and I'll send you a link. We're just gonna try to just tie everything together on preparing for everything. We covered the food storage and then we went further into the food storage, as you guys know. And there's some other things that you should be keeping in your preps as well. So we're going to try to keep building on it till everything's there. Everybody out there in the chat can hear us, right? I see the chat's going out there. Oh, you're with the loose lady? All right, cool beans. You must have T-Bear there, huh? Yeah, good. We have a panel up here, you guys, in case you haven't noticed. We have Uncle Al. We have Cheryl's up there. We have Rob Painless up there as well.
Hi, guys.
Oops. How about you, Rob? You want to link, or Backwoods, you want a link? Or are you going to just kick back tonight? Hey, Prep Ford, how are you doing? D-Mac's here? Hey, D-Mac, how you doing? Good to see you.
Yep.
Y'all popped in yet, or are you still working on it?
Hi, D-Mac.
Okay, 1 second.
Old man's here now. Good to see you, old man. Oh, darn, I forgot the popsicle. I might have to send somebody. All right. Whoops, I got something going on here. I'm echoing. I'm not echoing now? Oh, yeah, I am. Hold on. Must be my phone. Yep, that's what it was. All right.
Well,
We
I
had,
can't get my pop out chat to work. This is aggravating.
all right. We were talking a little bit about medical supplies and stuff that you put into your preps. And we got into that discussion about using possibly, if you had to, for emergencies, using stuff from the veterinary store. And I thought I had a list of what the fish biotics were, but I couldn't find it. So I went online and I found it. And I just thought that I would start out by telling you guys basically what they are. I know there's more of them than what is listed here, but it will get you a idea of what you can use and where you can get them at. Somebody got their volume up? Everybody okay?
Yep.
All right. The first one that we were trying to think of, but we couldn't figure it out, is actually fish pin port. I don't know if that's right, forte, port, whatever you want to call it. That is actually the same thing as penicillin, and it comes in 500 milligram. I think that's capsules when I looked at the store. And then the second one I came up with was fish smocks You guys might want to write this down if you guys are in the side chat. Or you can look it up online, either one. And fish mox is the same as amoxicillin, and that also comes in 500 milligram capsules. Now, these things can be found at most stores. I know that Walmart carries some of them. So Walmart carries some, and I'm pretty sure you could probably go to some pet store and pick them up. Another one is called Fish Flex, and that's Sport or Forte, however you want to call it. And it is actually a syphilaxin. Hope I pronounced that right. Did it? I call that right backwards? Syphilaxin, Lexin, and that's 500 milligrams as well. And you have to figure out what the dosage is, and you might want to find out when you get to your doctor's office. You can talk about it with him, not tell him about the fish part, but find out what the dosages would be. You know, they might look at you all crazy if you told them you're going to be buying them at the fish store. You know, another one is called Fish Zole, Zole, and that is the same as metronidazole. Metronidazole. Metronidazole, I guess.
You're doing fine, Will.
That's a hard one. And then there's Fish Sin, CIN, and that's the same as clindamycin. And Fish Psyllin, which is the same as ampicillin. This clindamycin is only 150 milligram capsules, and the ampicillin is 250 milligram capsules. Then there's Fish Flox, and that's the same as ciprofloxacin, and that's another 500 milligram pill. So those are the basic fish antibiotics that you could get and put those in your kits. So you could use those just as a last resort, because if things are really bad, then you couldn't get to a store and buy them or anything. So you could actually go scavenge from pet stores and whatnot, you know. And if you know what to look for, then you can just grab it. What do you guys got? Anything along that line, or you want to just go on?
I keep a couple of random fish drugs in my
In your
bed,
kit?
so, yeah, I think it's a pretty good idea. It's definitely not a bad idea to have antibiotics available. You know, you got to watch your expiration dates, and especially with antibiotics, because they'll lose their effectiveness pretty quick. But if you just cycle them out, they're pretty cheap to get. Whenever I go to get pet food, I'll, like once a year, I'll just grab a thing of fish penicillin or whatever it is, and just kind of throw it off to in my first aid kit there, just to have it in case we need it. So.
My foot went to sleep. That's why I stood up. Yeah, those are pretty good things to have on hand for sure. I mean, you think about it, if all hell breaks loose, I'm not saying, well, it could be even for a flood or a hurricane or anything, you know, it could have everything so upside down that you just can't find any of that stuff, and the doctors could be running out of supplies and stuff. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they would even use some of that stuff if they absolutely had to. Another thing you should probably stock up into your stores would be things like lighters and matches. I know we all talk about those ferro rods, and I love mine to death, but sometimes there's nothing like a good lighter to take its place.
Well, especially a Bic lighter, because those things are damn near indestructible. They go forever, and then some on picking. So.
Yeah, even if they're out, you know, usually like me, I just throw them into a box and let them just there and the empty ones sit in the box. And then after about 4 months, you can usually get a few more lights out of them.
Yeah, take a dead Bic, put it underneath your armpit for a couple of minutes, let it get all warmed up, and you might be able to get an extra fire out of it. So
that would be something you could just keep up in the pantry. You know, you can get those little. I used to get those little matches that you just kind of strike anywhere you get. We used to take them when I was a kid and just flick them with our thumbnail like the cowboys did, you know, and they would just come right on. So those strike anywhere matches, and you can just buy them and put them up on the shelf. They last forever, you know. As long as you don't get them wet, they're going to be good to go, you know.
sure.
Another good thing is feminine hygiene items. So I don't know that much about those, but I'm sure we have somebody on the panel that does.
Well, the two main things I can think of for women is, of course, your feminine pads and such, but also you might want to stock up on things like Midol. Some women have a lot of problems with cramps, and the Tylenol, Advil, that kind of stuff doesn't always work. So you might want to stock up on the Midol.
Absolutely.
Also, you might want to stock up on, I'm trying to remember the name of it, for yeast infections, medications for yeast infections.
Monostat.
Monistat, yeah. Cheryl, you're
Yeah.
right. With a wife and 3 daughters, we've got.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, with a wife and 3 daughters, we're pretty well stocked up on all that kind of stuff too. We have down in our storage room, we have all kinds of things are down there just for that purpose. Like literally hundreds and hundreds of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's
Well,
about
you-
the
you
only
know-
thing I can think of.
Make good
that-
fire starters too.
Well, obviously we all know that maxi pads make really good blood absorbers, good blood stoppers. So you can, and they come sterile. So you have a big case of those. It's like having a big case of gauze, pretty much.
Absolutely. I was going to say that.
Another thing I would randomly throw into the feminine hygiene thing. My wife uses one whenever she needs to, but like one of the rice bags that you heat up for cramps, because she always needs like a heating pad whenever she gets really, really bad stuff like that. So randomly, that would be something I would probably have laying around in one of those times of need, I would assume. But
Be a little harder to heat those without a microwave, but still good to have.
it would indeed. Yeah.
One of the things that I've been trying to get is the old-fashioned hot water bottle. If you can find anything that like the old-fashioned hot water bottle, it comes in handy for not just women's problems, but for any kind of medical issue where you need to apply heat, toothaches, earaches, that kind of thing. So works for other things too, but that's something that we can all look for and prep.
Did somebody say toothaches? Yeah,
Those are the worst things you can have, especially during the SHTF, I'd imagine.
yeah, that's a subject close to me. I've got one of my last few remaining teeth is in full rebellion right now.
Oh, crud.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes. We get into the end times, bad times, maybe tough.
That's what a pair of pliers is for, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Tie a string around it. Tie a string around it.
Bottle of whiskey, whiskey will do, right?
And Advil, ibuprofen is my friend.
Yeah, tie a string around it and tie the other end around the car door and slam the car door. That's what my grandpa used to always tell me.
One of the things that you can buy now is a temporary filling kit. That I actually put one in my preps because of Brandon having so much trouble with his teeth. So they're just temporary, but hey, you know what? They work.
Good job. I think brand name is Temperin on that, and I've used them many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Meadow says for your toothache, Rob, you could do a saltwater swish and maybe Jack Daniels as a backwash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that helps. But there's really, when you get to that point,
Only helps
there's
for as
nothing that
long as
really
you've got
helps.
Jack Daniels. Let's be real now. So
Jack Daniels, good stuff. Back in my drinking days, the only way to drink Jack Daniels was to pop the cap off and throw it away. Forces you to drink the whole damn bottle. That was back a long time ago. I got kicked out of a town once for drinking too much of that stuff.
well, something I wanted to talk about, random prep supplies that I actually kind of stumbled across as I was doing one of my integrity checks for Steve, the Corsair trainers. I was doing my little tabletop EMP thingy, and I was just going to draw preps and stuff. It crowded enough in videos to where we all kind of know about it, but having fasteners like screws, nails, staples, staple guns, all that sort of stuff to where you can like rebuild after a storm knocks out your roof or this, that, or whatever. So you're going to want to have like some lumber, some plywood, and the fasteners required to attach that lumber to the repaired item. Going alongside that would be any sort of like home fortifications if you wanted to, beef up security around your home when the flag goes up there. So sandbags are a good idea. You don't necessarily have to have sandbags. If you have like 1.5 million of the old grocery plastic bags that you get from the grocery store, you can fill those up with dirt and sand and stack those to fortify, doorways and windowways and walls and stuff like that. Keep in mind that if you do need to fortify your home, you can move your bookcases around, because bookcases are going to be really good at helping slow down, deflect, stop bullets flying through the house, stuff like that. So you want to put those in, key areas to really harden the house as well as you can. So you're going to want to have the certain preps necessary to repair, replenish, and fortify your homestead there. So.
That's a good idea. You have a bucket of nails for sure on your shelving or something. I had forgotten all about that. I have that written down somewhere in one of my past books too. Is everybody overlooks that idea of just having nails up in the shelves or whatever, because you're going to have to rebuild if anything serious happens. And what if you can't get to the nails? You'd be out scavenging other homes or sheds, pulling nails by hand so you get your job done.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And DMAC, something else to go along with home fortifications too is old tires. If you can stack up old tires and fill them with dirt and kind of stack them brick style, kind of like.
Well, even a card full of dirt stacked up is gonna do you better than not.
Yeah, and even better than loose dirt is gravel. Even any kind of pea gravel or anything like that. I've done a lot of tests. I hadn't done a video. I've got to do a video on it. Even 4 inches of gravel will shut down almost any kind of heavy weapons fire that comes at you. Maybe not a 338 Lapua or a 50 cal, but it'll shut down up to 308 and 300 Win Mag. And that's just 4 inches of gravel, man. It's absolutely amazing what it does.
Certainly. And my testing has proven to me similar things. Gravel is proved best, medium, like stacked in cinder blocks or boxes when I'm shooting through. Sand seems to be the second best medium. Dirt seems to be the worst of the 3 mediums that I can get naturally. Yep.
sand's a good one. Sand is very dense. It will stop a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the old tires are good because the tire, it won't stop a bullet, but it'll deflect it enough that when it goes in, it kicks it off its trajectory enough that it kind of takes a lot of the muzzle energy out of it and will put it somewhere where it's less likely to get to you.
It might bounce off too. I got a new chair this week, guys, so I'm trying to figure out where it's got to be set up right here for me.
Daniel is saying old tires and dirt last forever. Sandbags only 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly, Daniel.
Bricks would be ideal if you had them, or cinder blocks, but
Now, cinder blocks only work if you fill the cinder blocks with a medium of some sort, man.
with a medium.
All of my testing, man, I can pretty much everything that I have in my arsenal, I can buzz through cinder blocks with minimal effort. So
Yeah,
you would
exactly.
would have to have them filled with something for sure.
Yeah, a cinder block will fall apart on the first shot, and then whatever's inside tends to leak out. So cinder blocks have a very limited lifespan.
All right, I'm gonna have to change chairs here, guys. Hold on.
Yeah,
You're in
D-Mac,
charge,
it sounds
Rob.
like you and I think a lot alike on testing and doing stuff like
You're
that.
in charge,
oh,
Rob.
man, you know, if I'm gonna be out there wasting money on lead and brass, I want it to be with good cause. You know, I'm not gonna just be spitting pills at paper. I'm gonna be at least proving to myself what does and doesn't work. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
speaking of which, I just brought a shoebox home full of brass today. It was kind of nice. I was sorting through that, man. I probably picked up 1,600 223 casings and got a bunch of 300 black casings. Very nice.
There we go. Sorry, guys. That chair was just too much for my leg.
So Palmetto, that quarter-inch sheet of steel might work. Like, it sounds like really dorky, but one of my like true SHTF like battle preps that I have is my shooting silhouette that I shoot on my AR-500 steel plate, because I've got like a full like shoulder width, like full size 3/8 inch steel. And I welded chains to the back of it, and I literally can like hold it like a 40-pound shield that it is, and that thing will stop my 338. That thing will stop my, it stops everything that I spit. I've got 3 holes through it, and that was from a 50 BMG at close enough range to where we were able to bust through it. But like, I like the idea of having a steel shield that you can kind of run around. You put that in front of the door when you're answering it.
Yep.
Sweet, you got a little bit of extra for you. So
That's what that body armor's for. Ask Backwoods Law about that.
if police are gonna have rage shields, I'm gonna have the same type of thing. So
That looks, you're talking about, what was that one
target.
game I used to play, Call of Duty or something, where they use those big shields just to go right down through the battlefield,
What I use a lot of steel silhouettes and targets and that kind of thing, and pretty much everything I've got punches through them. Even my 5.56 and 223 stuff will punch through 3/8 steel, quarter-inch. It goes through, it literally extrudes steel from the front side and the back when it goes through. And my 308 punches through some fairly heavy steel. So
Yeah, I had a 308 when I was a kid. Those are pretty nasty guns. Good deer rifle.
yeah.
What you got, Uncle? Uncle. Maybe he can't hear us.
I don't see him on here anymore.
He's
Is he
there.
moving?
He's on my screen.
Actually, yeah, he is on this one, but he wasn't on the other one. Uncle Al, are you still here?
Yeah, he's got an icon up. He's got his camera blocked, so he might be off doing something or other, or might be, him got not the greatest of internet connections, so he could just be
Yeah,
yelling
he
at
may
his
be out
computer.
taking his medications.
We might need to get Steve to go over to Uncle Al's house to speed
Yeah,
up his
there we go.
computer for him to
We
get
got
it
a
working,
mission
right?
for you, Steve.
Oh
We
my
need to
God.
go do some tech support for Uncle Al.
We were meeting Uncle Al this
He's gonna
morning
be our Dodger.
on Corsair's live coffee chat this morning. We were kind of mean to Uncle Al. We weren't, but Savage Survival was. He hit him pretty hard. I felt bad, real bad. But
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't take life real. Quietly.
Oh, he's absolutely chat napping right now, I bet.
Well, I still got him on my screen. He must just not be around.
I think he's froze. I think
That
he.
might be.
Short form and feed. Yeah, Site Pro.
He's not
Yes.
So
moving.
what are some of the other not standard preps
Disinfectant
you
should
got
be a
out there?
good thing to have around too. That's a lot of people don't think about that because there are a lot of times that you can use disinfectants for more than just cleaning. You know.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of practical purposes for bleach and some other germ killing type stuff like that. Yeah, lots of applications for bleach, in fact.
Yeah. And there's. I was just sent a link the other day about they're finding toxic chemicals in bottles of drinking water that they're selling.
That sounds about right. Isn't there toxins in pretty much anything that's in a box or a bag that we buy?
And they're saying that it was, I can't remember where it came from, but somebody here on YouTube sent me the link and said I'd probably be interested in reading it. And it was saying that they found toxic chemicals in there, and it says on the front of the bottle that it's 100% spring-fed water inside the bottle.
Yeah, that's nice until you put it in something that corrupts it.
Yeah, until they put it in that big vat to put it in the bottle, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty unreal. Trying to find it where it was saying that, but I can't find it over here. I meant to run it off today, but I forgot. Like I said, this was my son's first big trip out and away from home by himself in my car.
That's right. Common consensus between Backwoods Law and Rob Painless is that life sucks, then you die. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I see Grumpy came in. How you doing there, SOP? Good to see you. Oh, Twisted Metals of Texas is here too. Welcome. Oh, got a couple of extra
Wayne
ones.
showed up as well.
Wayne showed up. And Jay.
Yeah, Jay's been here for a little while. So.
So welcome to all you guys that are just getting here. Of course, Air, did you jump over and wake up Uncle Al for us yet? You were supposed to run up there and get him.
One of the other random side preps that I do a lot of, and I'm sure we all kind of do this, but I'm pretty outdoorsy, so it makes a little bit more sense for me. But I like to have extra camping gear laying around, because camping gear has proven to just be a little bit tougher than the standard householdy type of stuff. You get stronger materials, heavier stitching, stuff like that. It lasts longer, and when you need it, it will be a nice thing to have.
Yeah,
So a couple extra tents, couple extra sleeping bags, couple extra, small mess kit type of things. One of my big deals, I really like camping stoves. I've collected camping stoves for a little while. So I've got the propane, butane, isobutane. I've got alcohol stoves. I've got wood burning stoves. I've got, ones that burn diesel and jet fuel, whatever it is, So that's something that I really enjoy, is having alternate means for cooking, alternate means for lighting. So you're getting some of your old Coleman lanterns laying around, some of that stuff, so that, because, you're going to have a lot of people that are storing gas, and that gas, after it's destabilized 6-7 months in the can, you're not going to really want to run it through a car, but you can easily run that through a camp stove, through a Coleman lantern.
I like that white gas. It's good for a lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I have a love affair with my Coleman lantern, second only to my love affair with my cast iron stuff.
Yep. And along with that is good, like all the equipment that you would use to cook while you're camping. So all your little pie irons, all of your, your cast iron, little bits and bobs, not necessarily the hard cookware, but you're going to want to have like all the utensils that aren't just crappy little, 2 times use it and have it be destroyed type of stuff. So, you want to have stuff that can get beaten up and work around a campfire, because there's going to be a lot of campfire cooking.
My goodness, DMAC, quit it, man. You're making me moist. I'm wanting to go camping.
The other thing is everybody kind of overlooks his batteries. Everybody talks about solar this and that, but you should have some batteries no matter what as a backup. I mean, I got tons of batteries. I even rotate them out because, well, I don't have a choice. My kid, like I said, he plays Xbox. When he's not at school or he's not working, he's on Xbox. So I go through the batteries pretty good with that controller thing he's got. So, but batteries should be up on your shelf for sure.
Well, and in the world of batteries, I've kind of gone a step further, and I don't have a large solar project at the house yet. Still working on getting my panels and everything sorted. I got about 100 watts worth of panels, but I've got 2 AGM deep cycle batteries, Group 31 big monster batteries that I keep on trickle charger, and I maintain those pretty regularly. And with those, each battery has a 3,000 watt sine wave inverter. So those are 2 standalone portable units that I can put one on each deep freezer, one on the fridge freezer upstairs, and and I can easily power the house off of just that car battery and that power inverter I have. And my my alternative means of charging the batteries is the cars. I won't be driving the cars, but if I can keep the car running, I can just start the car with the dead battery, charge it up with the alternator and the fuel that's in the tank, because it doesn't take that long to trickle up the batteries when they're hooked up to the engine compartment there. So, just having creative alternate power supplies. So.
Yeah, that'd be deep cell batteries definitely be the way to go. Because even if you got a solar system of some sort, you could recharge those things. I have a couple of them that just sit down in the basement. I used to have a trolley motor, so when I got rid of that, I just kept the batteries just for that. Because you can recharge them if you take care of them. Seems like forever to me, long time anyway.
Oh, what happened out in California, of course? What emergency alert? What are all you guys getting all trippy about?
That was my TV doing that. We're in a storm watch. Was making
okay.
that.
Oh no, gotcha. Okay, no, he's just trying to figure out who's Gotcha. Okay, I'm floating on.
That was me, Steve. The bombs are coming.
Not tonight.
Hey, Mike Gilbert came in. How you doing, Mike? Oh, Uncle says his router overheated. He popped out because his router overheated.
Hey, every time that man is trying to do a chat or something, I swear,
Well, he's
2
trying.
of the 3 machines.
He's trying hard. He's trying hard, but he's got old equipment. He has. I don't know if he's just tight or if he just can't afford it, but he just got really old equipment. But he's trying hard, I guess.
He said California.
California.
Yeah.
California costs a lot of money to live there for sure.
Needs to go load up the 30-30, but I like that because 30-30 is like one of my favorite rifles that I own, man. I love my lever gun. God, I love it.
Yeah, there is something very romantic about a lever gun. My Marlin 336C 30 lever. Oh man, with this, it's not the greatest rifle in the world, but
hell yeah, it is. You've probably taken more deer with that than any of your other rifles, so it's the
Probably,
greatest rifles.
Hey, when I was a kid, my first gun was a 30-30 lever action, and I took a lot more deer with that thing than my mom or my dad did with their fancy guns. My dad had I can't remember, a 308, and my mom had a 270.
The nice thing about the 30-30 lever action, man, that thing weighs 7 pounds, soaking wet, fully loaded. It's a soft recoiling, hard hitting, got a lot of punch. Like, you know, it's only a good at about 150 yards, but man, you can buzz through brush and through limbs. Like, it is a hell of a brush gun, baby. So
Absolutely, brush gun, absolutely.
Yeah, I had to sneak up on the deer in order to shoot him because it would only go out about 150 yards, like you said. I was using 150 grain bullets, but I still had to sneak up on them.
Oh man, I want to go out.
Now we all just want to go play in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Might want to consider making a Faraday cage too. I don't know if any of you guys are into that kind of stuff, but they actually do work, and they're not really that hard to make. I think I'm going to make one for you guys this summer. I found an real easy way to make one, so I'm thinking about getting all the parts together and doing a video on it, because it was really inexpensive, quick way to put one together. That way you just keep all your electronics in there. That's going to be the important part right there. You might be able to.
Wayne, I don't know if you ever use any of the lever revolution rounds that Hornady does for your 30-30. They have like pretty much the FTX tip in it. So you got instead of being flat or a round nose, you got a nice pointed tip right there.
That's what I had.
And with those things, I'm pretty comfortable out to about 200, 220-ish yards before I start seeing big drop.
Yeah.
That really did push out the range of the 30-30 quite a bit. So
I've never used anything in my 30-30 other than just those plain old-fashioned rounds. I've never.
Yeah, the ones I had were those really pointy ones.
And the X-Tacs and some of those are for my bigger guns. I love those, but I didn't even know you could get them for 30-30. Of course you can.
Yeah. I think I killed a deer uphill at 150 yards right in the heart with that thing.
Nice.
My dad said, no way you could shoot that deer uphill with that 30-30. I said, I led him my foot and shot. Well, good. You can go up there and get him.
I'm curious, Cheryl, do you like firearms and guns and do that kind of stuff?
I do, but I have not been able to have a firearm. Before my husband died, he was a felon and I couldn't have a gun in the house. And then after he passed away, I just haven't been able to get the money up to get me one. But my son is looking at some pistols that we're going to try to get guns for Angel and Brandon, myself, when they turn 21. So, but I do like them. As a matter of fact, my kids tell all their friends, yeah, my mom got marksman in the Air Force, Yeah, she's good at it. I haven't shot a gun in so long, it's not even funny, but yeah, I do like them. So, and I do want one, and I do want to get proper training. So,
yeah, I love going out to the range, but I go out about once a month. I go out to the range and shoot my 9mm, and then I have to go farther out of town to shoot my 223, but I haven't been out there yet since the snow quit. I will get out there though.
I hope.
I'm absolutely blessed here in Utah because the whole city is just wrapped with BLM land and national forest land that's got a lot of public shooting areas. So there's a spot not even 15 minutes from work that I can just drive up to, pull off to the side of the road and start popping off. So that's lunch every other week.
Yeah.
we go shooting quite a bit out here. So
that's the way it was in Washington. I could just put the guns in the car and go up into the clear cuts of the mountains and shoot off. They don't care up there, but here you've got to either be at a range or you got to know a farmer, and I don't know any farmers. So,
Well, that's kind of the way it is here. The only place you can go is if the sheriff's department will open up their back parking lot, we can go there. Otherwise, it's find a farmer. So,
Wow.
but we do have a team that's from here that trains in gun safety and on all that. And they travel to different counties in Missouri and train. They're maybe trained actually in our town maybe once a year. So.
Wow. Listening to y'all talk, that makes me feel spoiled and self-conscious. I can walk out my back door and shoot 500 or 600 yards in a
Sounds
direction.
right.
About.
Yeah.
So where do you go to shoot? Where do you go to shoot now, Wayne? He's saying that he used to shoot every Thursday, but he can't trust the locals. Or you can't shoot where you live.
Yeah, Paul Meadows' right. Need at least one gun. The only person that's going to be in charge of your safety is you, and that's
That's absolutely the truth.
yeah.
Yeah, now my son, Chris, he actually has two guns. When he moved out when he was 18 and, he's out on his own. And by the time he was 21, he already owned two guns. So he is armed and he will be with us if anything was to happen. But he is the one that's going to be buying guns for me and the twins. So
We're not going to be disseminated, Corsair.
They will never win.
Golly, Steve, get the heck out of California, dude. I know you,
He's been there way too long.
They'll
man.
try all they want. They'll never win. Not as long as
Of course, there's the Borg. Steve is the Borg. I love it.
You people and your freedom. You're just jealous because you live in California. Here's something else you guys should think about: face masks. They should be in your cupboard with your other stuff.
Yeah, gas mask.
mhm.
Any kind, even those paper masks would be fine.
That helps. Yeah, the M95s. Yeah.
Anything that would protect your face from, even if you're working on somebody medically or something like that, and you wouldn't want them to breathe on you or spit on you or anything like that, you could use those little paper masks. I think that Backwoods Law can help me out here. It's
always
not
want
just
to have
the real
some
cheap
sort
ones,
of
but
dust mask, face mask when you're doing stuff. So you want to have those around for sure. So
Why not, Wayne? Why won't mask help?
yeah, you got to shave it off first, Wayne. Shave the beard and the mask will work.
Gotcha. Yeah.
just get it to seal good, Wayne. That's all you gotta do. Just shave around where the mask goes.
Yeah, the M95 will help with some stuff. I mean, even an M95, when you've got, let's say you had radioactive particles floating around, an M95 will collect most of those particles. They will be big enough, small enough, however you want to see it. They will get collected in that mask and potentially keep you from inhaling them. Now, you want to get rid of
That's
that.
the one I was thinking of. Yeah, M95.
Yeah, you want to get rid of them pretty quick because they're going to collect those particles and then become radioactive themselves, but they still are better than nothing. So they're not the best necessarily, but they're better than nothing.
Taylor's got another good one up there too. Medical gloves, or even those latex gloves. Not those cheap, flimsy ones. They got better ones, but don't get the ones with powder in them.
Not the ones with powder, Will?
N95 face mask. That's what I was thinking about.
Will, did you say not the gloves with powder in them?
Don't get the ones with the powder in them. Get the non-powdered ones. I believe that's right. I could be wrong, but I think it's non-powdered ones.
Why is that? I hadn't heard that before.
Shoot, now you gotta make me think. It's something to do with the powder. Think it come out and get on the wound or something like that, if I remember right.
Oh,
I have
Going along with
some
the-
that are just regular ones. My hands slip right into them. I mean, your hands are oily. They should just slide in.
just blow into the glove and make it
Yeah,
big wide
blow it
open.
into it. Yeah, that's what I do. I
Going
blow
along
into
with
it, make it a little bigger, and then slip
Yeah,
my hand
going
right
along
in.
with those N95 masks, like you were saying, Rob, definitely it will help catch more than nothing. But something that I've done when I've been out weed eating and stuff is I'll throw N95 on, and then I put like one of those buffs on, like one of those little head tube thingies, and I cover up the mask with my buff, and that's just an extra little layer of filtration, so that's going to help catch everything, and that will help with the bearded folk for those things to actually kind of work a little bit better. It's obviously not ideal, but it's going to be a lot better to help against particulates floating around than not having anything. So
yeah,
You see what
exactly.
you read what Steve said? Use a little Vaseline. Vaseline's come in handy for a lots of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Good old petrolatum.
I was going to say Vaseline too. Darn it, Corsair.
The board beat you to it.
GI medicines. How about GI medicines? Because there's going to be a bunch of people with gut problems if all heck breaks loose. You're going to have people eating stuff that they don't usually eat. It's going to cause some intestinal issues. So you want to have some GI medicines.
another good thing to have that I have on my list here for items for prepping random ones is going to be like random, just like basic fabrication tools. So you're going to have like your hacksaw blades, vice grips, and files, and even like a hand drill or something like that, so that if you need to repair metal or fabricate some metal bits and rebuild brackets and stuff like that, you'll have the tools necessary, because saw blades and files are going to be some of the hardest to recreate tools at a blacksmith forge or anything like that. So you're going to want to have those on stock for sure.
I got a little bitty handsaw that I put in my bug out bag. It's like only this long. Looks like a regular wood saw. It's a 10-point, but it's only about that long. And that comes in pretty handy in tight situations. And it's pretty light too, so
Yeah, for sure.
I got it at a yard sale, I think. I said,
something that everybody forgets to mention is for tools is handles for your tools. That's the thing that goes bad. I've got all kinds of hoes and rakes and hammers and all kinds of stuff. And what always goes bad, the thing that I constantly have to deal with, is putting a new handle in something. And handles, if you've ever tried to carve a handle for something, you can do it, but it's a pain in the butt. It's nice to just have a handle you can tap into something. I don't know. Did you read any books by a guy called Ragnar Benson? That was his nom de plume, I guess. But that was something he mentioned in one of his books. That handles are the thing to have. The tools are going to be everywhere. The handles are what's going to be hard to find. Wooden handles.
Now, along with the handles is obviously going to be the knowledge on knowing how to build handles. So you're going to want to have draw knives, spoke shaves, and the tools necessary to be able to comfortably whittle down a piece of hickory, with in wedges and stuff like that, so that you can build them. Because back in the day when pioneers and everything like that, they used to just take the hand or just the tool heads. They wouldn't even bring the handles with them to save weight and save space.
Yeah.
And they would just get to whatever tree they'd get to and build all their handles for their tools at that point. So yes, it would obviously it's going to be super convenient to have the handles around, but having the knowledge on how to make a handle and the tools to be able efficiently is going to be important as well.
Yeah, for sure, bud. I bet that's absolutely right. You know, any piece of wood is better than nothing for a handle. And I've even got a lot of my tools that I've quit screwing around with wood and just used old conduit that I've got. I'm an electrician, but I'll take a piece of half-inch or three-quarter EMT or whatever and make a handle out of that because that's not going to rot. Now, it gets a little bit hot in the sun and it might be a little bit heavier, but it doesn't break and it doesn't wear out.
Cement-filled PVC works.
I was gonna say this a minute ago, and I forgot. Lock picks. I got a set of lock picks. They're not really that much, and I sit here and play with locks all the time. They're pretty easy to use.
I actually have a really funny story about that just recently as well. So I have lock picks, and I actually like use them pretty regularly up at work to get into like to take hitches off of trucks and stuff like that because it's easier than getting the grinder out and cutting off stuff. I got pulled over. And I, talking to the officer, let him know that I was carrying because he was asking questions, this, that, whatever. I'm in a dealership car, insurance, registration's kind of weird. So he's just asking a couple extra questions. Asked if he could search the car. I said, yeah, go ahead, nothing to hide. He starts going through my backpack. And my EDC pack has everything that you would assume that I have in my EDC pack. It's kind of intense. It's definitely like a, bug out bag, get home bag type of something or other. Man, he found those lock picks and he looked at me and he started asking me all these questions because then he found a little pry bar and then the tool. He totally looked like burglary tools in his eyes. So I had to like really explain to him that I was not a criminal at all. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna have lock picks and stuff, you might not want to carry those around with you all the times because the optics can look bad in the eyes of the law if you have certain, if you have gloves, face shield, pry bar, all this crap with you that's good for us to bug out or get home in a weird situation. In their eyes, that looks like you're up to shady stuff. So yeah, that's a good idea to keep in mind.
It is a good idea.
You're nicer
but they are fun. They are fun and they're easy to use too.
D-Mac, you're nicer than me. I'm very cooperative and I'm with the cops and that kind of thing. But when it comes to searching or digging around through my stuff, it's an absolute no without a search warrant. Those guys are not there to help you. They're there to help themselves, and they don't get to do that. If they've got that much questions and that concerned, we'll sit here till you come back with a search warrant. You do not go through my stuff, though. Sorry.
I typically agree 100% with that. But like, I hate the MO of, okay, you don't want me to search. Let's wait for 20 minutes till we get a drug dog out here. Let's have the drug dog walk around the car, do some BS markings, say he is or isn't signaling on it. And we're going to take another 20, 30 minutes to tear your car apart. We're not going to find anything because I don't have anything wrong.
Right.
So then I'm going to have to deal with putting the whole damn car apart or back together because unfortunately it's happened more than 5 times.
Well, they won't put it back together either. They just tear it apart.
Oh, hell no, man. They leave all that stuff on the side of the road and they tell you to get the hell on as quickly as possible. They look at you like you're a criminal for trying to put all your stuff back in your car, organized like. So.
Wow. I've never had that happen. I've been a couple of times where they went to look through and I'm like, no, dude, sorry. If you think there's something wrong, then we'll talk about that. But you don't get to just randomly start digging through stuff.
Yeah, I did that a lot in my younger years too, Rob. I'm telling them no, not without a search warrant. But I don't have anything these days, so I don't really care. Go for it. You ain't gonna find nothing.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with that 100% backwoods. Like I'm not afraid to share anything that I have with an officer. If he needs to look through my stuff to feel comfortable with his investigation to get me home as quickly as possible, frickin' A, man. If I can help facilitate my getting off the side of the road and getting on with my business as quickly as possible, knowing that I've got nothing to hide, then cool, sweet, let's do it, man. Let's, if you digging through my bag makes you feel happy and lets me off the road faster, so be it. It's a crappy way to look at it, and I know that it's trampling on my rights, but I unfortunately fit the profile of a stoner kid out here, big beard, kind of grungy looking. I look like a dirty, dreadlocked hippie, and so I drive a different car every day with dealer plates on it, so I get profiled often because I have weird tinted windows. I have parts, all sorts of weird stuff going on. So I catch it. So
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a
They
tough
have
call.
ways. They have ways of making you look like a butthead, you know.
Yeah.
Damn hippies indeed.
Damn hippies.
Ruin everything. Damn rain kids.
Can't beat it. You know, when I was younger, I had even longer hair than I have now, so I got pulled over for everything. You know, I always drove a nice car and everything, but nice hippies don't have nice cars, and most cops eyes. You know, back in my day anyway. So I got pulled over a lot. You know.
Man, I guess I just live a charmed life because I get pulled over fairly regular. It makes my wife crazy. I'll get pulled over and I don't get a ticket, and I'm usually real cooperative. But sometimes I tell the guy pulling me over, the cop, the officer, whatever, that hey, dude, what you got. I don't know. I argue with them or get silly with them. I don't know what it is. My wife drives 2 miles over, she gets pulled over and get a ticket. I drive 10 miles over. They don't pull me over. They pull somebody else over. I don't get it. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Well, I've never gotten a ticket, but I've been pulled over
I wear
a hell of a long time.
yeah, I carry concealed, you know, and I got pulled over a few months ago, and I was going 70 and a 60 or something like that. When he went by the other lane, I knew I was going to get pulled over, so I just pulled over automatically, and he come up and he talked to me, and he looks at my license. My license has right on it that I am concealed carry, and so he goes, have you got your gun with you? And I go, yes, sir. And he goes, where's it at? And I say, it's down here in a holster in my console. And he goes, tell you what, I'll leave mine in my holster if you leave yours in your holster, you know. And I said, yep, sounds good to me, you know. And he goes back to his car and he comes back and he goes, hey, I didn't see you had veterans plates on. He says, I'm just going to let you off with a warning this time, you know. My girlfriend looks at me and she says, how do you do that? She says, I got pulled over. I get a ticket.
All right. I'm going to tell a story here. This will take a couple of minutes. My favorite story. If you've heard me tell it, don't stop me because I love to hear myself tell it. But a long time ago, before my wife and I got married, I was going down to Colorado Springs to pick her up from the airport. She'd been gone. And at that time, she had another significant person. And I was honestly anticipating having to shoot that dude that night. But I was in a hurry to go get her. Oddly enough, I was running late. I'm always late. And driving on the way there, I'm going in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. And remember, I'm living up in the mountains in Colorado. And I get to this little valley, and there's a line of about 12 cars. And they are all going stupid slow. And it's that time of evening. The sun is gone behind the mountain. And it's still light, but you can see for 10 miles up this highway as it goes across the valley and up the other side. And there's nobody coming. There's nobody coming, but they're all like a funeral procession. And I'm thinking, I'm not waiting on these bunch of idiots. So I speed up. Mind you, we're in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. I speed up. I'm doing about 95 as I start around the first car in the back of it. And every car I pass looks at me like I'm crazy. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? And my biggest fear was that somebody was finally going to decide they were tired of being in that funeral procession and pull out and try to pass, and I was going to smack into them real hard. And I'm going zip, 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 car. I get to the car in front, and it's Colorado State Patrol, and I'm doing 95 and almost 100 miles an hour. I'm like, oh, damn it. And so as I go around the guy, I can see him looking in his mirror with this look on his face like he couldn't believe it. He's right. And I fly by him as he turns his rollers on. And so I just go around him and straight to the ditch. Now, mind you, I'm bristling with firearms because I'm anticipating trouble. And I'm thinking, oh, great, I'm going to jail. I'm 40-something miles over the speed limit. And here we go. This is going to be bad. And, of course, everybody, after I get pulled over, all the people that were in the funeral procession are driving by, giving me the thumbs up, waving, hey, thanks, Rob. I'm like, yeah. So I think, okay, this is one of those touchy situations. So I go ahead and roll my window down. And by this time, the sun's gone down a little bit. And it's dark, not real dark, but the guy comes out with his flashlight. So I roll my window down, put both hands over there. In the meantime, before he got there, I'm covering up guns as much as I can with coats and stuff because we're kind of middle of winter. And he comes up and I've got my hands out there And he says, sir, thank you for putting your hands out there. I appreciate you doing that. Now I need to see your license, registration, proof of insurance right now. I was like, yep, got them. And so I hand him all that, and he walks back. He said, you wait here, don't go anywhere. I said, nope, I'm here. He goes back. I'm thinking, well, he's going to come back with charm bracelets and tell me to go ahead and come out of the car with my hands on top of my head, that kind of thing. So he comes back a minute later. He said, all right, Mr. Payne, is there any reason you were driving that fast this evening? I said, yeah, but not a reason you're going to like. He said, well, you want to try it anyway? I said, I'm going down to the Springs to pick up a girl from the airport, and I'm running late, so I was trying to hurry. He said, well, do you suppose she'd rather you get there on time or late? I said, or alive. I said, yeah, probably alive, that kind of thing. He said, all right. And he hands me my bona fides back. And I think, here we go. He says, all right. He said, listen, he said, I got 3 of my buddies working the road further up down the road here. He said, do I need to let them know you're coming? I said, nope. He said, all right. He said, I want you to drive safe and slow down. And I don't want to hear about you again tonight. I said, I'm a good boy from here on out. I didn't get a warning or nothing. I got off the hook and on I went for the rest of the way. I couldn't believe it. Pepper said, well, I'll go knock on wood. I promise.
Yep. They can be dicks for sure. Excuse my French.
This guy was a sweetheart. I love him.
All right, I was thinking another thing that we sometimes overlook for the list, or even to have up on your shelf, is plastic sheeting or plastic tarps, just to have extras off to the side. Because if you have to bug out quick fashion, you may want to grab some of those, take with you. 9x12s is the perfect size, actually. And we talked about vinyl gloves. About where I'm at. That's the end of my list. One more thing. Sewing kits and candles. 2 more things.
Another.
Could do a video on a sewing kit that you can put together, because I have found a lot of the sewing kits that you buy, the stuff they have in there is not all that great. So I'm going to show a really simple way to make a small sewing kit that'll cover everything.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. They're saying that it comes in handy for all kinds of things. You could mend your tarps and everything with a sewing kit. And then another thing is water purification tablets. I know that you put bleach and stuff in, but you should probably have the tablets too, because you might just be out by yourself. And I think Wayne, didn't you do a video on those water purification tablets where you put the one in and let it sit for a while, and then you put the other one in? They do work. Wayne did a video on that.
Another thing to go along with the random preps is going to be on your kind of home repair stuff. Plastic sheeting, duct tape, silicone, and caulking adhesives, so that you can create barriers around all the windows and doors and air inlets of the house. If there is any sort of
Chemical attack.
nuclear, biological, chemical weapon attack outside, you're going to want to be able to seal off and cordon off your house and control the airflow. So having basic equipment necessary to be able to seal up all the vents, all of your vent hood on your oven and the bathroom and the fireplace, the windows, the doors, anywhere that air can sneak into the house, you're going to want to be able to seal that up. So.
Oh, that wasn't you, Wayne? I thought it was you that did that. I've been watching too many videos, I guess. Getting people mixed up. Okay, another thing, probably just a random thing, would be ammo. Make sure you got ammo on your shelves. we're sitting here talking about guns, but we should probably talk about ammo too. You got to make sure that you got plenty of ammo stashed away and make sure
Now,
it's in a cool, dark spot, you guys.
between Rob and Will there on the panel, the guys that have guns, how much ammo do you guys store typically? What's your rule for storing and stockpiling ammo?
I like 1,000 rounds of each, whatever you got. That's a good round number, I think. And then if you stock any more than that, I guess you could use it to barter with. But I don't like the idea of bartering with it because if they know you got it, then they'll probably come back and try to take it from you. That's my opinion. I think that if they know that you have it and they go through theirs, then they might come back trying to get it, forced it away from you.
All right. I don't know if it's OPSEC or not. DMAC, I've got a little over 3K for my 308 and a little over 3K for my 5.56 stuff. And then beyond that, that's my two primary battle type weapons. Beyond that, I've got anywhere from a few hundred to a K or 2K for some of my other weapons.
So my rule is with the calibers that I train with and the calibers that I shoot regularly. So that's going to be my 5.56, the 300 blackout, my 40 caliber handgun stuff. Those are my three primary calibers that I shoot and I train with. I am 10 times my training amount. So if I shoot 200 rounds in a training session, I'm going to have 2,000 rounds sitting behind me. If I'm only shooting 100 rounds out of pistol in my training sessions, I'm probably gonna have about 1,000 rounds sitting behind me. I like to make sure that I have, that's been my rule always. Shotgun, I usually only shoot 50 rounds or so when I'm out, so I have 400 or 500 rounds laying around. So I've played that 10x rule with all of my stockpiles, and then on my less popular caliber, like my 338, my 30-30. Stuff like that. I'm, maybe 200-300 rounds per. I don't really have a whole lot because 338, every trigger pulls like $4 or $5. So that one gets expensive pretty quick.
Yeah.
30-30, I've got a decent amount with. And the benefit of that is that I can reload 300 blackout and 30-30 with the same projectiles. It can get a little funky. Shooting flat noses out of a 300 blackout would be interesting, but it will work. I've tried to go with more of a caliber conformity. So I've got mostly 308, 30 caliber pills, and then just the 5.56, and then all of my handguns are 40 caliber. So those are all standardized across the board. So.
And when I go out shooting, I try to only take like 100 or 200 rounds because if I take any more than that, I end up shooting whatever I have with me. It's just too much fun.
About every 6 weeks, we have a big shooting seminar, training, fun, go have it. Me and a couple buddies will go out into the desert where we have the big ranges, and we set up all of our targets and all of our little, training courses and stuff. And dude, 3 or 4 hours of that, and we've each put 1,000 rounds through our rifle. So 5.56, I'm pretty heavy on that. I realistically probably about 4,000 or 5,000 rounds laying around of that at the moment. 40 cals. Probably about the same realistically, because I found a dirt cheap deal at my gun store and I just had to jump on it and buy them up. They were pennies. They were 9mm price, so I couldn't say no. So
yeah. It's like my AR, it shoots 2 calibers too. So 2 different shells. So I got a little bit of each.
And then I'm going to surprise everybody because I have, the 5,000 or 6,000 rounds of 22, but like my 22 is probably one of my least favorite calibers and my least favorite guns. I'd never shoot it anymore. I don't varmint hunt with it anymore. I don't like my 410 shotgun's my varmint gun. 22 is kind of a negligible caliber for me and for the way that I do things. So I don't put nearly as much emphasis on the 22 world and the necessity of having a 10-22 and a 22 pistol that a lot of the other preppers are going to put emphasis on.
I don't even have
because to me, it's just a really anemic round. Obviously, with good shot placement, it's going to do its job, but you have to have good shot placements to do the job. and I'd rather have something that's going to come with a little bit more kinetic energy on target. So I just don't really. I mean, I understand 22 is a great round backwood, but I just don't like it, man.
Yeah,
No.
it's too easy to go out and
Small,
shoot
and I,
a
when I shoot
thousand.
teal on it, it barely tinks at 100 yards, and it.
Yeah. That's
Not
what
for
I
me.
said. Yeah, it's just too much fun to go. Yeah, with the
Now,
22,
I will
mean,
agree. Like
I
I've
had my
got a
day.
bunch of I keep subsonic 22 around the house so that I can varmint dispatch easily. I've got a bunch of 42 grain copper, solid copper stuff that will it's pretty quiet and so those
22 would be a good barter round, though.
See,
A lot
when
of
I,
preppers would have those 22s. I've
yeah 22
heard a lot of
22
preppers talk
cartridges are
like
like
that.
pennies.
I don't have one. I have that 20 gauge Hatfield. I just got it like last year, and I like that. And I have my 12 gauge pump, and then I have the AR, and then I have my 9mm. I think that's enough for an old man.
when I go out in the middle of the night, if I hear a noise at night, my 22, generally a Ruger, I've got a couple of 22 rifles, but a Ruger 1022 is what I generally go out with, that and a flashlight, because that I'm going to kill anything from a coyote down to a rat or a skunk or whatever else if I go out. And I'm not as worried either about where the round's going to go. If I happen to have a stray shot, then I'm not as concerned about where that shot goes. Whereas with larger calibers, that shot's going to keep going, or with a 12 gauge, it's going to blow a big hole in something. But that 22 rifle is more of a surgical tool, I guess, to take out whatever varmint or whatever else it is. I've killed pigs and deer with a 22 rifle, and you're right, shot placement. But I guess I'm okay with shot placement. But I mean, even coyotes out to 50 and 80 yards away from my house, I've dropped plenty of times. And as far as skunks and things like that. Now, I had a big raccoon one time out there into my chickens that it took 6 shots to kill that 30-pound stupid raccoon, before it was dead. But I had that luxury of doing that. I could crank off 6 shots real fast and it not be an issue. Again, not having to worry about where the shots go, not having to worry about collateral damage, that kind of thing. 22 is a workhorse tool for me. I love them.
22
And I
is
can
actually
imagine if
for
you
a
have
mile.
land or I can imagine if you have land or on a homestead that's absolutely a tool to trade right there. Being downtown city boy, man, I'm not dispatching vermin with anything other than a rat trap and in a live cage because I'm not trying to get picked up for unlawful discharge of a firearm in city limits.
Good point.
That'd be another thing to have in your preps, though, is traps. So you can go out and trap some food.
Yep. Rat traps are a really good thing to have because that's passive hunting right there. Really good idea.
Or even have the knowledge of how to make some out of what you have in your surroundings. Like, I can't remember, a year or so ago, they had a challenge going around YouTube about how many people could
I'm
make
working
the
on it
figure.
backwards. 46 days.
Yeah.
46 days, and I am moving to my plot, man. I'm cross country move, and I'm gonna be out of the city here soon
On
enough.
the
So,
countdown. Yay.
How far cross country?
2,000 miles. I'm moving from Salt Lake City to Atlanta, Georgia.
Holy mackerel! That's a heck of a move.
That is
Yep.
a heck of a move.
And bummer, I was hoping you were going to wind up here in Texas somewhere close.
Fortunately, my father was born in Texas, so I have access to a Texas passport if I truly need it. But no, I was blessed enough to be born and raised in the South, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going back home.
Yeah,
We're taking our kids back to see grandma, and grandpa, and aunts and uncles and all that good stuff. So.
I hear you.
Family. Yep. Back to family.
Yep.
Grassroots.
sure.
All right. That's about, anybody got anything else?
Cheryl, you haven't said much in a while. Those guys are doing all the talking and not letting you in.
We're talking.
That's okay. I was watching the chat.
Yeah, she's the secretary.
Yeah. Have we talked about sanitation?
Not much.
Sanitation. No, we didn't. Bring her up.
Well, one of the issues that we have in this trailer park is the sewer system backs up all the time. And that's a big issue. how are you going to get rid of your waste? You really need to think about that. You need to think about your area. You need to think about how you can dispose of it.
Yeah.
And it's really important. And I've seen a few videos where you own toilet, and what products would you use, to a lot of people say cat litter, some people say lime. What would you use? What's available for you? You need to
You
think
would
about
probably, I would think I've had a discussion on this before, and it would be another subject to bring up again because people always forget about it. But main thing is you should probably use a bucket and use cat litter or dirt or what is that other thing? Shoot, I can't think of it now because I got thinking another direction. But put it in a bucket and then carry it as far away from the camp as you can or wherever you're staying and bury it. And that's it. But eventually you're going to have to make a permanent like leach field or something.
A long time ago, I say a long time ago, not very long ago, I don't know, it depends on how you look at it. In the mid-90s, we went on a 10-day raft trip while I was living in Colorado. We went to Utah and did a 10-day raft trip, float trip down through Gray and Desolation Canyons on the Green River. And what we used there, you're encouraged to pee in the river because there's so much water that it dissipates it. But if you need to take a dump, you have to do that in a bucket. We call the buckets groovers because you sit on them and they leave a groove in your butt. But what we did was there were garbage bags, trash bags in those, and every day it was somebody else's duty when you set up camp to set up the groover, typically in a scenic spot so you got a nice overlook, blah blah blah. But and at the end of the day, whoever was in charge of the groover that day would come up and put a couple of splashes of bleach, Clorox bleach, down in the bag there, and then you seal the bag up, squeeze the air. It was a nasty job, but you squeeze the air out of it and fold the bag back down and put a fresh bag in there. And you take those all the way out with you. When you get out of the river, there was special dumpsters for human waste that you put that kind of stuff into, but it wasn't an issue. And you got to remember, there were like 12 or 15 of us on this boat trip, and that dealt with the waste very efficiently with that many people doing their business and kept it that way. And it wasn't a problem. Now, we had one special raft that was the Gruber raft that had 8 or 10 5-gallon buckets there that all had that on there. And everybody took a turn driving that because if that raft goes bad and you're with it, yikes.
The sheath is going to hit the fan, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But just simply nothing more than a garbage bag full of poop with a little bit of bleach in it, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody was saying, 99 Red was saying, dig a latrine downstream from the water source. But I do not agree with that at all, because you're contaminating then, you're contaminating. What if your water source went away and you would have to go somewhere else to get it, you're still contaminating. I just don't agree with that. You would have to, I agree with going downhill from wherever your group is camped or staying or whatever, 150 yards to 200 yards, and then digging a hole and burying it. But you want to stay at least 50 feet away from any kind of stream or river so that you're not messing up your water supply.
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We've got an outhouse there out at our place. We have an outhouse out behind the shop. It's a long ways off and not real convenient. But there's been times when our water quit working for whatever reason, and the outhouse became our friend. I mean, we used it and it took care of itself and no big deal. So it's handy to have.
Yeah. Backward said kerosene works to keep the smell down.
I
I guess
expect
you could torch it up at the same time,
Yeah.
Pour it on there. Light it
Campfire
on
ashes
fire.
also work really good.
Yeah, wood
Sprinkle
ashes,
your
yeah.
campfire ash over your piles.
Yeah,
We're
wood
like-
ashes is very good for that.
we're like really lucky because if you go that way from my house and past the trees, we have a lime quarry. So I can go
Oh,
I want
wow.
free.
That's
So that's
handy.
probably what our choice would be. Yeah.
I'd be sneaking over there at night and getting me some bags full.
Sure.
Well, I've been tempted to.
Because that would help you if your sewer backed up.
Yeah. And
One of my random alternatives for human waste. When I was younger and I did a lot of big wall rock climbing where we'd be on the wall for 3 or 4 days at a time, and you'd have your portaledges and you'd climb. And so you'd be camping out on the side of the wall and you had to carry everything with you, obviously.
Yeah.
So we did the poop tube. So we had a 4-inch piece of PVC pipe that was probably about 12 to 14 inches long that screw caps on either side. Open that up, line it with a dog waste bag, one of the little, pick up your dog poop bag thingies, and squat over the hole and let it go, tie up the bag, throw it in the bottom of the tube, seal it up. And then they're all pretty easy to maintain when you need to dispose. So
Yeah, that seems
a lot of in dog waste
good.
bags, you can get a roll, each roll has like 20, 30 bags on it. And you can get, 200 waste bags for $5 at TJ Maxx or wherever. So
That's a good idea. I never heard of it.
your poop won't be that big when it hits the fan because you're not going to be eating a whole lot. So
Yeah. I've done a lot of climbing, but I never did multi-day wall climbs like that. I'm jealous now.
It's the beauty of Utah, man. So we got a lot of that big wall stuff out here.
Exactly. So. Did you do Zion? Did you do the big wall at Zion?
Yeah, I've done Space Shot was the big one I had down in Zion's. I've done quite a few in Zion's. My climbing hole is our Indian Creek down in Moab area. So
Oh man, see now I am moist. Moab, we used to go to Moab and spend a week or two there, 2 or 3 times a year. We'd ride over
next month, baby. Before I leave, I'm taking a big trip. I'll have you guys with me, show you guys some of the sites. So
sweet. Oh, I love Moab. Love Moab.
Yeah,
that's truly God's country down there, man. It don't get much prettier than Canyon country. So
man, yeah. Oh wow. Well, I'm getting goosebumps now, man. I missed that. I missed that.
Well, I suppose if you're downhill from your camp or whatever, and everybody's pooping in a bucket and then going out and burying it, that'd be a good place to have a garden, huh? At least after a year, anyway. Hey, anything else anybody wants to add in?
I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else. I'm focused on Moab and mountain biking and rock climbing now.
Now you gotta go rock climbing, huh?
nice.
I'm too fat to go rock climbing now, but I miss it.
Hey, you could get up there. You could figure it out, Rob.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, you get enough pulleys put together.
You're still a spring chicken. Come on now.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is figure out the pulley system and just get enough pulleys to take the weight away from you.
I don't think it works quite like that, but I like the idea.
Well, there's always some way to come up with an idea.
Yes, there is. I can let somebody go. I can let somebody top rope and drop me a Jumar, I guess. But
There you go. You could let DMAC go up there and maybe he'll just rope you up.
yeah,
Oh, I could figure it out, man. I've done. I did the search and rescue thing and the caving thing and the canyoning thing. I could rig up everything and hoist anything up if I need to. So
DMAC, are you my son that I never knew about?
probably, yeah. I'm just that. I'm the millennial mountain man, baby. I was raised. My dad was a good, hearty, good old boy, old-fashioned redneck, and he taught me the way. I was blessed that I was I was born in '82, so I learned like the whole analog world and playing in the woods and doing all that good old boy stuff.
Wow.
And I was just old enough to kind of. I'm just as bad at computers as Steve is. Steve's probably a better tech support guy than I am. Realistically, man, I'm brain dead when it comes to electronics. But yeah, I'm all about the outdoors and keeping it simple and having a good time and adventuring hard. So we play really hard.
That's how I was when I was younger. I was able to do that. Thank God, I was able to do that until I was like 52. So.
Man. DMAC, I'm curious now. We're talking about it just before we get off here. Have you ever taken a fall, like a really scary bad fall?
I've had a couple of really bad rips that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. One of the worst I ever had This was a really intense one. I was on a 6-pitch climb. We were on the 4th pitch, and I was leading. I do a lot of trad climbing, so I've got all the cams and the hexes and nuts, all the stuff that we're plugging. And so we're probably 350, 400 feet off the deck to begin with at the belay station at pitch 4. And I get maybe 60 feet into a climb, and I get into this off-width chimney that was like, I could like stuff my shoulder and like half of my chest in there. It was just like, but it wasn't like you couldn't get your whole body in to do like chimney moves or anything. So it was like this really, really nasty outward flaring off-width crack. And I had 2 cams that were kind of big enough to protect this crack, but the crack was about 60 feet long. So like I was like hopscotching these things. I'd place one, I'd climb up and get right there, and I'd put another one and move it. Well, sure as shit, I got to like, I plugged 2 cams at this one spot, and I had this big, God, probably 25, 30 foot run out between that protection and the one below it. And I saw a really good pro about another 20 feet up, and I just said, to hell with it, let's go. And I started scrambling and just racing up this section to try to get up there. I did not get up there. And probably about 35-ish foot, 15 feet one way and 15 feet the other way. One of the 2 pieces of protection ripped out. Another one comes down. I flip upside down, smack my head on the wall. Gear comes up, cracks my head open. So there's blood pouring everywhere. Like my belayer thought I was hanging on the rope dead. I was totally fine other than the fact that I'm just gushing blood out of like a cracked eyelid or something like that. But oh man, that was scarier than scary could be, because we had to figure out how to either get past it or get back down. And so I gave him all the stuff, and we just said to hell with it and got back down and wrapped off. And we didn't finish the climb out because I was not wanting to do first aid at 400 feet up. So
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I had a similar thing. Before I learned that there was such a thing as ropes, I used to climb. I did all my climbing without ropes. I just, grit your teeth and go. And it was in southeastern New Mexico, and I was about 250 feet up on a wall, and I was coming down a different route because the route I took up turned out there was a rock there that was like a 2-ton surfboard, and it wiggled, and I thought, man, I don't want to come back on that thing. And it was a stupid move, and I knew it was, but I came down a different route that I hadn't already been. And on the way down, I found there was a spot where I only had handholds. I didn't have any footholds, but I could do hands. I could do fingertips and fist jams. And there was a spot that I could get a really good fist jam and pivot down. There was a little ledge about 20 feet below me. And I thought, if I can get down to that, I'll be okay. I can traverse across over to another good crack and make it down that, no big deal. And so I repositioned as I was coming down, and I had what I thought was a good fingertip hold. But as I transitioned my right hand to get that fist jam I needed, my left hand slipped and I dropped, and no ropes or nothing. And fortunately, I landed that little ledge, and that ledge was not much wider than a laptop computer, maybe a car dashboard, but I stuck the landing. Not only God things that, God was just like, oh, brothers, no.
Yeah. And check your shorts after that one, right? So.
Oh, man. And I had a canteen on and a pistol under my arm and my glasses. All of them came off, and all of them landed on the ledge. I got all of them back. And I hit the landing and stood back up, and I took off a couple of fingernails clawing at the rock when I dropped, because I thought it was done. I thought, well, that's it. This is where I'd die, and my parents find out, what an idiot I was. I stood there for probably 5 or 10 minutes, like you said, scary as it took about 10 minutes for the shakes to go away. And then I was able to kind of put my glasses back on, and then was able to, get on down. But just like one of those weird things that makes you reconsider. The old saying, there's old climbers and bold climbers, but no old, bold climbers. And after that, I learned there was such a thing as ropes, and I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. That, that'll help.
I got lucky real quick. I learned the beauty and the importance of ropes. I've always done ropes when I was a kid climbing. I've been climbing since I was probably 13 or 14, bouldering. Dad was into caving, so he always had that stuff. But right out of high school, I was on a search and rescue team, and we did high risk extractions, and we worked on, caving, extraction, stuff like that. We would work with the local sheriff and local EMTs and stuff to help them get to people that they couldn't get to with standard means there. And remember the first gnarly one that I ever went to, we helped pull out a guy that had fallen about 110 feet, survived.
Wow.
He had spiral fractures where his femurs shot up and they were up at about his shoulders right there.
Wow.
And absolutely intense. It was like one of the gnarliest things I'd ever seen in my life. But
Yeah.
so I learned the importance. He was doing it without a rope, and so I learned at that point that we wear ropes.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes ropes don't make the difference. While I was living up in Summit County, Colorado, I used to live in Breckenridge, Colorado. There were a couple of ice monkeys one year that had made it up to the top and got to the top of a frozen waterfall. And there were a couple other guys coming up, or were they coming up or going down? I don't remember. Anyway, the guys got to the top and they were still roped together, and one of them slipped and he went off the edge and drug the other one off with him, and they both went down a 300-foot drop. And two guys that were coming up or going down, whatever they were doing, saw both of them go past them, all the way to the ground, and there's nothing they can do. They're stuck on the wall. And it's just one of those reminders that you not ever relax.
Yeah. Yeah, Westwind said he had a buddy fall off Mount Pilchuck. I've been over on Mount Pilchuck several times. It's pretty bad over there unless you know what you're doing. That's in Washington State.
That's been one of the weird, unfortunate things that's been happening out in Utah a lot this tourist season. The last couple of months, about once or twice a month or two, we get reports and news reports about how some tourist was hiking up Angel's Landing down in Zion's and slipped and falls 1,000 feet to their death, or
Wow.
they're out scrambling around Dead Horse Point and they slip and fall 1,000 feet to their death. And we've had probably 6 or 7 people in the last 5 or 6 months that have fallen great distances accidentally while they're out on vacation. So it's been be careful when you're close to the edge, baby. Gravity wins every time. So
yeah, I promise. I've done Angel's Landing. I've been there before, and that's a scary, that's a spooky. Even being used to climbing, that was kind of a spooky walk going up that.
Even when you're in the middle of the trail, as far away from the end, man, Angel's Landing, that's gnarly, man.
Yeah.
That's 500 feet of straight up with just straight down on either side, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. You don't screw up there.
Yeah, I was walking a little path on that cliff on Pilchuck. It was only like this wide. You had to kind of go foot over foot like this. And I just stopped to take a break, and I was standing there looking out over the clear cut there, and I looked to my right, and there was a stinking bear standing there. I don't know who shitted their pants more, him or me.
Yeah.
And I had no place to go. I had to go his way because my way, I had just climbed up through the rocks to get there.
Real quick, Westwind, you say you want to do Angel's Landing, and I would tell you if you can do it, awesome.
Yeah.
But if you're going to Zion, there are so many more better, like significantly better hikes than Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing is overly populated, and you can't see that far when you're at the top. Like you can see pretty cool, but it's pretty limited just because of all the features. There's like, if you go up into Ordeval Canyon or, do any of the Subway Narrows, any of that sort of, there's some super epic hiking in there. And Angel's Landing is, other than the fact that you go up really high, it was actually one of the least lackluster hikes that I did down in Zion. It's super amazing, but there's some, the special thing for me in Zion is when you're down in the canyon, you're looking up 1,000, 2,000 feet either direction, and you feel like that tiny little ant in God's world. So
Exactly. Angel's Landing was real cool, but it's almost more impressive being at the bottom looking up than it is at the top looking down.
That was my experience every time I go.
All right, you guys, let's wrap her up.
Hey, 99 Red B, next time you come to Utah, you need to go to Zion. It's probably the best park in Western United States, dude. That place is there's energy and there's stuff there that like other parks don't show you. I was more awestruck by Zion than I was by Grand Canyon, by Arches, by Canyonlands, by Capitol Reef, all those parks. Like Zion is the one. That's where we got married. I took my wife down there and got married. It's so special. The place is amazing still.
Nice. Yeah, Zion is pretty cool, and I love southeastern Utah, all the way from Canyonlands over to Lake Powell and everything in between. Zion, yeah, I love all of it. I love all of it.
All right.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to dive out. I got a baby that I need to go tuck in, so I'm gonna have to push off the
All
chat
right,
here.
yeah. I think we're going to be getting off here. I want to thank everybody for coming by. It's Monday. I'm going to stop doing that story time thing on Tuesdays because I'm going to start doing a live stream on my Just in Time Prepping Facebook group. So I'm going to start putting that together and start being over on Facebook once a week doing a live stream. So
Yeah, I just posted my email address there for anybody that wants it. DMAC, I hope to hear from you. In fact, I'm going to do something else here too. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I don't give a crap. I'm going to put my cell phone number here. So if anybody,
you don't do that on there.
I don't get my business number. 6,000 people have this number already. What do I care? Whoops. Hang on.
I'm gonna write this down. Rob, because
Don't forget to come on Wednesday, you guys. That's when you get your name on the list.
Chat, so.
Yeah, everybody talks about OPSEC. Really, I mean, look in the phone book. There I am. I've got an electrical business and a motel. My number's out about 6 million
I'm
places.
kind of the same way, man. Give me 5 minutes and a credit card, and I can find out what I need to find out about you on the internet. So why try to hide it?
Absolutely. That's how easy it is these days.
Yeah, if I'm not already well known in whatever circles are wanting to know me, they're not looking.
Yeah.
No, I'm not afraid to spit it out there either, man. If you guys want to come and talk to me, negative, positive, awesome. Let's have that conversation. Let's figure out how we can move forward and climb the mountain together. So,
dang right.
Why try to hide it?
Will, this was a great live stream and a great chat, man. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, we had a pretty good live stream tonight. We covered a lot of stuff and had fun doing it. That's what I like doing it for, is having the fun with every camaraderie.
Yeah, agreed. This has been fun. There's some cool stuff tonight.
All right, everybody, say good night.
All right.
It's been a pleasure, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
It was
you guys all
great.
in the chats and then and all the live stuff here throughout the week. So,
all right, night, everybody.